In addition to central tendency, we speak of variability, two notions that are largely unrelated. We could have a mean but really have no feel for how variable numbers are. So, the strict definition, variability provides a quantitative measure of the differences between scores in a distribution and describes the degree to which the scores are spread out or clustered together. Let's take a look at these two distributions. Each of them has a mean. So, for instance, the mean adult height in inches, and 70 sounds high, really. But nevertheless, you can see it's sort of narrowly spread out. Conversely, we might have the mean adult weight in pounds, and who knows if that's realistic, but it's fairly widely distributed, in which we have a large distribution of weights there that could be all over the map, of course, depending on one's physical bone structure and a lot of other things. So, the mean tells a story, but it doesn't, of course, tell us everything we need to know. One toe in the water for variability is the range. And previous editions of this textbook used to insist on the bottom definition, where I take the upper real limit for the highest value and subtract the lower real limit for the lowest value. Anymore, the textbook has sort of given up on that. They don't care about that definition anymore. The range could also be, which will be a different number by one, the lowest minus the highest value, or the highest minus the lowest, rather, I should say, x max minus x min. Let's take a look at these numbers. If I took the simpler version of the range, it would merely be the max minus the min. 12 minus 2 is 10. How could it be 11? If we took the upper real limit of the maximum value, 12.5, and subtracted the lower real limit of the minimum value, 1.5, 12.5 minus 1.5, and then you have 11. That's how that would work. And up till the 7th edition of this textbook, I believe it was, the authors insisted on that calculation. And I sort of agreed with that, because as you look at a histogram, it does go from the lower real limit of the lowest number to the highest, to the upper real limit of the highest number, right? Of course it does. But I think because there was such an ambivalence, I suppose, in other textbooks, the authors of this book finally caved in and just said, either way, it really doesn't matter, because the range really just is a gross barometer. It's the simplest and maybe least descriptive thing that could be said about a range of numbers or variability. So here at SFA, someone might ask, hey, what's the range of your student ages? Well, we have a smattering of 17-year-olds. I don't know, it's maybe over 100 17-year-olds. And I believe recently we had an 84-year-old person that was going to school here full time. So the range, strictly speaking, would be one of two different definitions: 84 minus 17, which is 68, or 84 and a half minus 16 and a half, which of course, wait a minute, 84 minus 17, which is 67. Excuse me, math is hard. Or 84 and a half minus 16 and a half, which would be 68. So either one of those would do there. In that case, you could see there's only a subtle difference. But the range can tell you something. It could be a gross toe in the water.